but they are really known for their spritzers. And so when I was doing my research, I was looking for cocktails. A lot of them are pretty out there, or they require ingredients that we don't have on hand. But I did come across a cocktail that was created in Austria. According to what I looked up, you know, these cocktail history things, they kind of, you'd never really know exactly where they came from. But according to my cousin Google, this was created in Austria in 2005. It's a take on a spritz, or it is a spritz. And then I basically just added more booze to make it stronger, which I'm pretty good at, and created this one. So a Hugo cocktail is just elderflower liqueur, which is pretty common in Austria. Prosecco, mint, lime, and seltzer. And that is the Hugo cocktail. Super simple, very easy, very refreshing. Now this is the same exact thing, except it has gin. So you got gin, you've got elderflower liqueur, seltzer, Prosecco, mint, and lime. And it only takes 30 seconds to make. Super simple. So I'm going to show you how to make it real quick.
And I'll show you how to drink it really quick.
You can start drinking that one.
Love it.
So I think you should serve it in a wine glass. It looks pretty. It looks beautiful. And then we've got a really nice Austrian gin here. It's called Monopoloa. It's really affordable, and it's a very, very good gin. They also make vodka, which I'm partial to. But very good stuff, and you can find it in most liquor stores. So it's simply an ounce of gin, 1 ounce of elderflower liqueur here, and then you're going to add the mint. What you always want to do is you want to slap the mint. You want to give it a couple slaps. It kind of releases the aroma and the flavor, and it'll help it add to the cocktail. And then you just want to add a couple lime wheels in there. And
Sorry. I just happen to need this beer. Sorry.
and
This is how you pour Czech beer.
so we got gin, elderflower liqueur, lime, mint. Gonna put a little soda water in there, a couple splashes. Add your eyes. Top it all the way to the top with some Prosecco, which we have on tap here, which is great. Give that baby a little stir here. Get your little wine lime wheel as a garnish, and voila.
Wow.
Werkstatt Hugo. It's very good.
Hooray!
That's awesome.
That looks,
Thank you.
that looks
I love it.
fantastic.
I wish the virtual really worked.
Yeah, no, it's great though. If you can get all these ingredients like any liquor store almost, and yeah, it's fantastic. I gotta answer a phone though.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute.
So, so one of the things that that we wanted to just mention is obviously Werkstatt, like many other bars and restaurants, Werkstatt has had to reduce their services. You can only do takeout there, and the staff there, which really is like family to us and to other people in our community, they all are really challenged by what we're all going through. And so if you are at all interested in tipping Greggy, your bartender, or the rest of the staff at Werkstatt, you can Venmo a tip to Werkstatt-Brooklyn, and that's the way to do that. And we will, of course, be making a tip to Werkstatt as well,
Right.
For partnering with us and hosting this, and in gratitude to them.
Right.
So.
And we'll send that out. We'll send that information out.
We'll send that information out to those of you who are on. So why don't we let Mario talk a little bit about Crystal Cruises and their fantastic vacations on the Danube, and again, Mario, we're so thankful and so grateful that you're part of this.
No, not at all. It's been great to be part of this nice little community that you have here, guys. So thank you so much for including me and thinking of me. And you guys did the job already. You sold the experience. I love it. So my job is done. I'm just gonna show you some images on what Crystal has been doing. Maybe start thinking about your next vacation. And I will share my screen really quickly. I wish I would be drinking that nice gin spritzer, but that's okay. I have water. It's too early here in the West Coast, anyways, right? Okay, so let me know, guys, if you can see my screen, just to make sure. Give me a thumbs up. Good. Perfect. Okay, and you can hear me. All good. Perfect. So I will be showing you some nice, beautiful images, hopefully to get you thinking about your next experience. And obviously, I work very closely with David and Tom and Aaron. They are wonderful. Huckleberry Travel. And if you have any other questions, we'll address them at the end. But also afterwards, you can just send them over to them, and they can pass it on to me. So Crystal Cruises, if you are not familiar with our brand, we have been around for 30 years, mainly doing luxury, all-inclusive ocean cruising. 5 years ago, we expanded our brand, and now we have different experiences. So that's what I'll talk to you about. And obviously in October, David and Tom, we're very lucky to go on the river experience. So we do have river now. We have a small little yacht, cool adventure experience, and also expedition coming out. Now it will be in January of 2021. So that's kind of the update of that I wanted to give you, and just start thinking about the different experiences. So in 30 years, the one thing I will say, and I'm very proud of representing this brand, is because of the incredible experiences we give, because of the amazing service that our guests receive, we continue to win award after award every year. We've done a great job in ocean, and even though we haven't been in those different experiences for a long time, we have been awarded for our yacht, our small little yacht experience, as the best small luxury ship in the world last year by Condé Nast, as well as our river experience. So you can really, this is a true testament of the experience that our guests are receiving on Crystal. So what the brand is made out of is the 5 pillars. Really, it's all about service. That's the number one that you'll be consistently seeing through the slides and through the experiences, and what you can expect. The level of service that is very authentic, comes with a smile. It comes from the heart. They go above and beyond for you. They know your name by the first night. They know your favorite cocktail by the first dinner. They truly care about the experience of our guests on board, and that's what really has driven our brand to success for the 30 years that we've been in business. We have clients that follow their bartenders around the world because they have that tight connection with that one bartender they had on their experience, and that's just the level of personalized service that we like to provide on Crystal, and that's really truly the essence of the brand. Then there are other pillars that I think really enhance the experience. Space is one of them. You will see in some of my slides the space to guest ratio. This will become very important, we believe moving forward post COVID-19. So space is going to be a pillar for us, and has been for 30 years. The quality of everything that we do, whether it is the service or the dining or the shore excursions, we have workshops as well, cultural workshops on board that we offer. Everything is high quality, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Choices, because that is what everyone is looking for, right? We're all our own individuals, and we want to make sure that we experience our luxury cruise experience and our own vacations in a very personalized way. So we give choices in everything that we do. And then lastly, of course, the destinations, the beautiful destinations that we're traveling to. So those are the 5 pillars of Crystal that you can consistently see throughout every experience that we offer. Now, let's dive into the all-inclusive part of this, which is another great pillar that is a whole separate world because it adds to the convenience, it adds to the hassle-free, peace of mind experience when you're going on vacation. We completely include essentially everything on board the ships. My favorite, select wines, quality wines, champagnes, top shelf spirits, uh, your um, your gin and tonic, your gin spritz will be included. It's all taken care of. Your specialty coffees when you're going on the river cruise in on the Danube or the Rhine will be included. So there's no extra charge. There's no additional bills at the end of your cruise, right? You really get to enjoy your cruise. You don't have to sign anything off to your folio on board because everything is essentially included. Also included, we have our specialty dining experiences, which it is, like I said, a highlight of what we do. The dining, we believe, is an extension of the destinations that we're traveling to. So they're going to be featuring specialty experiences to feature to reflect the destinations that we're traveling to, right? And those are all included, whether it's sushi by Nobu, right? We have that experience on our ocean ships, or a nice specialty dining in our main dining room with, 5-course meal. It is all included. There's no extra cost. The Wi-Fi is included. All your beautiful amenities in your suites and staterooms are included. Some of our shore excursions are included as well in most of our experiences for ocean, river, yacht, and expedition. There's a one unique program that we have, which it's a new concept in travel. It's the You Care, We Care. It's giving back to the destinations and giving back to those beautiful places that we're going to. Those experiences for ocean are included as well. And we call them voluntarism's You Care, We Care experiences. Prepaid gratuities, again, you don't have to worry about tipping your wonderful staff because they're all taken care of. We do have guests that, because our staff goes above and beyond for them, they do give them an additional gratuity, but that is not that's not really something you have to do because it's all taken care of. You don't have to worry about the gratuities. 24-hour in-suite dining as well included, all your housekeeping, like I said, some shore excursions for river, yachting, expedition. Your transfers for these experiences are also included. So again, really not much to think about once you pay your fare. When you book it with Huckleberry Travel, it's all taken care of. You don't have to worry about that extra bill at the end. Okay, so that's your peace of mind. So we want you to enjoy your vacation.
Oh, so it looks like Mario's frozen here. So
Yes, we can talk about how everything he says is true while he's getting himself hooked back up.
Yeah.
I think that the sort of the concept of just relaxing and not having to worry about anything is the best way to talk about the experience. Oh, there, you're back again.
Mario is
We'll
no
let you
longer
continue.
frozen, so we'll stop.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's all right.
I went on and on. But I know that you can attest to this, Tom and David, on the all-inclusiveness. And in reality, the only items that are not included might be when you want to take use of the spa, right? Get a spa treatment, get pampered. Or if you want to take on this private shore excursion or a shore excursion on ocean experience, then that's really the only reasons that you would spend any money on board. Otherwise, everything is included, right? Okay, so we're good. Really quickly, so I won't dive too much into each experience, but I wanted to have an overview of what's out there for you We do have only two ships, beautifully uh, maintained mid-sized ships. That's what we call them, the Crystal Symphony and Crystal Serenity, for the ocean-going cruises, right? The concept of the typical traditional cruising experience. Uh, they are both have a capacity less than 1,000 guests. The Symphony only 840 guests, and the Serenity it is 980 guests. So mid-sized ships, they're certainly big, and that's what we call them, mid-sized ships. But we have less guests, less staterooms, and more public space for our guests on board. They travel, they sail around the world. If you want to do Asia, we have wonderful itineraries, anything from 7 nights up to, you can go for a full month if you like, or do the world cruise. We do have a world cruise experience as well. And these two ships are the ones that do that. Again, everything on board is included. We have wonderful experiences in terms of entertainment. That's one highlight for this particular experience. So if you want your Broadway shows, if you want some dancing in the evenings, enjoy a jazz band in their lounge, piano bar with a nice, beautiful lounge experience after dinner. This is the experience you probably will look for, because you will have plenty to do on board. We have a casino on board as well. But again, only 848 guests on the Symphony and 980 on the Serenity. Another highlight of this experience is the many options for dining. My favorite, you have 12 options to dine on board. Main dining room, you have Chef Nobu has a partnership with us as well. So we have the sushi bar. We have a churrascaria. We have a Asian and Peruvian cuisine fusion. We have a specialty Italian restaurant as well. By the way, all included as well. So no worries, you can enjoy all of those. So those are the highlights with the ocean going experience. 2 ships, and really they go around the world, anything from 7 nights to full world cruises. But the highlight of today, given the theme and given our partnerships and thinking about the experience that Tom and David had last year on the Danube, is our river cruise experience. Crystal went into river 5 years ago, and they went in with the mentality of, let's provide our guests that are very loyal to the brand the experience that we provide in ocean, but for river. And they really have elevated that experience. I mean, river cruising is a wonderful experience just because by nature, right? You're very close to the ports. You're sailing in the small into small ports of Europe. You have the great mixture of beautiful cities like Budapest, Vienna, Amsterdam, right on the river, where you can get off and explore into the cities. And then a combination of the small little villages that you will not be able to find on your own, and really access them, and then have the comfortable experience of just sailing along, one port one day, then you move on to the next port and you have a whole different experience. And then the scenery, of course. You have rolling hills with the castles along the Rhine, with the beautiful scenery along the Wachau Valley on the Danube. It's just a wonderful experience. So great experience by nature, but here is where you can, what you can expect, and what obviously David and Tom got to experience. And I hope the video will be okay. Let me know, give me a thumbs down if it's not good. Give me a thumbs, perfect. So I'll play a little quick, very quickly, so you can see what the experience is. Wonderful, right? I think
And
that's a wonderful video that really portrays and shows you what you can experience. So I
hey,
mentioned that Crystal went into
so
this.
Mario, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt
Yeah.
because that video, like some of the footage was on the Crystal Bach, which was the
Or they're similar. Yeah.
or a similar ship, but there were some of that footage that was shot on the Crystal Bach was the river ship that we sailed on in October, and we recognized specific waiters and bartenders
Yeah.
that were on our sailing who were in that video. And what you said earlier about how people form friendships, like we've become friends with that staff, and it really is a level of service that's just above and beyond. We actually crossed through a different ship on another brand in order to board our Crystal ship, and so we kind of got to see, oh, this is what they're sailing on, and this is what we're sailing on, and it was Crystal is just the best of the best. So I'm going to shut up now and
No, that's wonderful. Please keep going. I love it. I love it, Tom. I appreciate that. But that's true. And something about the service and our staff. Our senior vice president of marketing and sales uses this phrase regarding our staff, our crew. We hire for attitude, and then we train the skills. That we make sure that our family on board, our crew, really have that personality to care for our guests, to want to make those connections with our guests. And obviously you experienced it, and that is again the essence of Crystal, and that's why we make our guests have unforgettable experiences. And I think they highlight, you can go to beautiful destinations, have a wonderful cruise, but I think the bartender just caring for having your perfect cocktail being made, your dining or your steak being made a specific way that you love it, having those small little details just included in your experience really make for an unforgettable cruise, an unforgettable vacation. So thank you for that, Tom. I wanted to show you a map of where we sail in terms of river. Obviously here you have the Rhine, the Moselle, the Main canal into the Danube. And this is the most authentic river cruise experience. As you can see, wonderful cities and small little villages that you get to see along the way, and you get to dock right in the center of the city. You get to walk off your wonderful floating hotel, right? And step into the cities, connect with the locals, connect with the local culture, explore on your own. We have bicycles on board, by the way. You can go explore on your own. One of my favorite things to do on river, and just ride along the river, right? It's just a wonderful experience, very intimate, very, very destination centric as well. Just a few highlights. Again, you have your Budapest, your Viennas, Passau, my favorite city along the Danube. It's just a wonderful little village in Bavaria where you can see the three rivers meet. You can go on a hike and go to the castle on top of the hill. Again, so many different experiences all in along the river and all in one sailing. In terms of the ships, we discussed these. The Crystal Bach, that's the one that Tom and David went on. We have 4 of them. They have the same layout. They were brand new builds when we went into river 4 years ago, all of them. And they have the same layout. And one thing that Crystal came in to do is, when we went into river, making sure that we have personalized service, making sure that we have the highest staff to guest ratio, and and making sure that we have the space for our guests. So a big difference between what Crystal is doing and what other companies have done in river is when you have a river ship, by the way, we are going through locks, which is an experience of it itself, by the way. You go through locks. We go through narrow stretches of the river as well as shallow stretches. So that's what we have, the locks. But we all have specific dimensions to work with, right? 135-meter long ships is going to be the biggest ship that you have on the rivers, especially for Rhine and the Danube. Most of those ships have put on about, on average, 150 guests, some of them 200 guests on board the same size of ships. Crystal came in and we said, larger suites, more staff, less guests, 106 guests. So the same size of ship as our competitors, we are only putting 150 guests, we're only putting 106, about 40% less. So that makes a huge difference in terms of the service. As you can see, we have a 1 to 1.5 staff to guest ratio. So that's important. And that's number one, personalized service. We do have more than any other river cruise line out there in terms of staff to guest ratio. For every 2 crew, there's 2 crew members for every 3 guests on Crystal. And trust me, that makes a huge difference, especially when we are a full capacity and you want to make sure that your service levels are always high and personalized. We have the ability to also have farm to table, right? Because we're going through the local destinations, the ports. We have access to the farmers markets with the local farmers as well. And we have partnerships with them so we can provide that fresh ingredients, that beautiful experience, a Michelin inspired cuisine experience on the ships. And I know Tom and David, will you share that story about your tour into the galley later, right? Or you can do it now.
No, it was fantastic. We actually, one of the great things about our trip was toward the end of the trip, we were able to tour the galley and to see a very, very small, tight, compact kitchen in this ship. And you know, the whole week we were eating just this exquisite food that was
like Michelin. I don't know how you said it, Mario.
Michelin's level.
I mean, you said something.
Michelin inspired.
Michelin inspired.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It really was. I mean, it was not just sort of a false sort of claim. It was fantastic.
It was fantastic, and not stuffy though.
Yeah,
too,
not
because
stuffy.
you're on your vacation, right? So like to be able to have food that's at that level, and service that's that impeccable. Mario was talking earlier about service. We were the first morning that we got on the ship in the afternoon. We had a meal, and the next morning at breakfast, the waiter knew which of us wanted still water and which of us wanted sparkling water, and didn't even have to ask us. It just happened. He's just like, still, sparkling, still. It was incredible.
And also the thing that one of the most fascinating things about the galley, because one of the fun things about going on a cruise ship galley is to hear about how many pounds of butter they get and how many pounds of meat and things of fruits and vegetables. And the chef was telling us how essentially the very first meal he prepares lots of things. The one that people come on that day, and he kind of prepares a little bit of everything, and he sees what people are leaning towards from that first meal, and that's how he does his whole menu planning for the rest of the week. Or not entirely, but that's what he bases sort of directionally where he wants to go with stuff, because he gets a sense of how many people are going to want meat, how many people are going to want vegetables. And it was just fascinating to think of the numbers that he's playing with.
Well, and also I know that a couple of people who've just joined us are vegan, and let me just assure you that there's absolutely no question that they are absolutely prepared and available to give you cuisine that is top-notch, top drawer across the board, that will accommodate your dietary needs without any
Yeah.
problem. So
It was great. I mean, the food was a highlight. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, the food was incredible. The whole trip was a highlight, and the food was just one of those things. I was like, of course it's this good because everything else was so wonderful.
but the other thing too, like I would say, going back to the whole vegan vegetarian thing, like Central Europe is not known for their vegetables necessarily. And Werkstatt, our partner here, they had a phenomenal vegan dish on the menu that was incredible. Their tempeh with the black beans. That it was just one of my favorite things to get when we were there. And the same philosophy holds true on Crystal. They are you don't feel like I'm a meat eater. I don't feel like I am compromising or getting something that's second tier if I go to Werkstatt and order a vegetarian or a vegan meal. And on Crystal, the same thing. Everything was just exquisite across the board. So. Okay.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's amazing. That's amazing. And again, it's fresh in your mind because I love that you experienced it, guys. So thank you for that. And truly, again, we do have our tagline. It's where luxury is personal, right? And we truly care about each individual guest. And I'm glad that obviously we have the most amazing chefs on board to take care of that part of the experience, the cuisine, which is very important to us. So thank you for that. Some more images. In terms of the restaurants, you do have an option of open seating. You don't have to go at a certain time of the evening. You can have an early dinner or late dinner. It's up to you. Whatever fits your calendar. If you want to go explore for the full day and maybe have a late dinner, then you can certainly do that. We do have the option of the open water side, which is our open seating, more traditional modern experience. We do have Viennese inspired cafe, the bistro as well, just for those small snacks, open seating as well. And I like to talk a little bit about the vintage room because for the river experience, this is an additional cost, but it is truly a highlight from what I'm hearing, the feedback I get from our guests, which is a true wine pairing experience with our chef working very closely with the sommelier on board that will pair a full-on 8-course meal for you to just enjoy. And it's a highlight from what I've been hearing. We offer it as a lunch or dinner experience. And there is a cost behind it, but it's well worth it from what I'm hearing. We do provide in-suite dining. If I didn't mention this before, all of our river ships are all suite ships. So they're all suites from the lower category to the top category. Again, we only have 53 of those suites on board. It's not that big of a ship. We do have, again, space is going to be important. So we built larger suites, and I have a few images for you with the latest, most modern technologies, as well as beautiful amenities. In river, by the way, if you see the balcony here, that top part, the top half of that window will, with the press of a button by the wall, will come down and give you fresh air so you can really enjoy the scenery. We don't necessarily have built out balconies, but because that space takes away from your inside, because remember, we are going through locks. We cannot make our ships wider. So we build that space within your suite. But here's a highlight, here's a tip, and I'm sure David and Tom did this. My favorite part about when we're cruising from port to port, and we sometimes cruise during the day, along the Danube, you have the Wachau Valley, the beautiful scenery. It's a UNESCO heritage site. Just go to the top deck, to the sun deck. We have a bar there. Enjoy a wonderful cocktail. I see thumbs up, and just taking the beautiful scenery and the fresh air, right? And that's a true highlight of the river cruise experience. So not to say that you won't want to enjoy your suite, but you know, during your river cruise experience, please make sure that you enjoy everything around you because it is part of this type of experience. A few more images. My wife's favorite part of the ship, which is the fact that we have double sink bathrooms there. Something unheard of. I've never seen the bathroom this big for a river cruise. So obviously we've used the space very well. Here's a lowest category, still a suite. So our suites start at 190 square feet, which is bigger than most of the other competitors in river. Every suite comes with a butler service because you need to be treated like the royalty that you are. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of you. In terms of the shore excursions, included, you have a huge array of options, whether you want to go active on a bicycle tour into the city, or you really want to have a cultural experience, maybe go to a museum, or have a local experience by going to a local village, maybe meet up with the local family and do some fun activities with them and learn about the culture, learn about the village that we're visiting, that small port. Those are all included, most of them, and they're part of the experience when you are offshore. And again, every day, essentially, you'll have a new port to visit. Because again, it's a luxury experience. We have our wonderful coach with equipped with Wi-Fi on board to come along the way on every port. So we do have that available for all of our guests. And I do want to make a quick mention because we do have again, Tom and David didn't have enough last October, so they're going back, I believe, in December for Christmas markets, which is an experience within itself, right? If you've never been to Europe during the holidays for Christmas markets, oh my gosh, it's a wonderful experience, magical. It does feel like Disneyland, but the real thing, right? Not the fiction experience. You have this image, wonderful markets on every port, essentially. A great experience. Yes, it will be cold, not gonna lie, but they have Glühwein in every port and you can really enjoy it, walk around. We make sure that we're taking care of you on board the ship. And David and Tom are going from Budapest to Wilhelmshaven December 14. And we do have a great rate right now of $38.99, I think, for the best suite available. So that still continues. If you want to join them, it'll be great. Here's a quick little map of where it goes. So you have a wonderful big cities like Budapest. You start in Budapest, and then you have Vienna. You have Dürnstein, Milk, Passau, the city, the village I was telling you about, and you end up in Wilhelmshaven. And then if you want to, just an idea out there, if you're doing a Danube cruise, when you decide to do a Danube cruise, make sure that you're extending to Prague because you're there, right? Make sure that you're taking advantage of it. It's a 3.5-hour ride. We can do it through us. We take you right to your 5-star hotel in Prague for 2 nights with a full experience for those 2 days. And Prague is just a magical city within itself. Unfortunately, she's not on the river, right? So we have to get you via land, but no problem. If you are doing the Danube, make sure that you are thinking about Prague, and that's where it is in terms of our pre and post experience. Okay, so with that being said, I will end it with this. If you're not thinking about joining David and Tom in December this year, we do have a wonderful program that we just launched a few weeks back. We're calling it the Advanced Purchase Savings. And again, I hope that I'm not coming across too aggressive, but I think it's a really good opportunity if you are thinking of possibly traveling in 2021. Essentially, what we're doing is giving you a very low price point of $36.99 per person, again, all inclusive, for a 7-night river cruise, whether it is the Rhine or the Danube. We have 70 sailings to choose from. ranging from March through December of 2021. Um, it translates to about 50% off of the lowest fares. And the key is time is of the essence because it is a best available suite. So that means when you call into Huckleberry Travel and you tell them, I want to book this date, if there is a top category of suite available at that time, which is ranging around 6,300 per person, you only pay the $36.99 and you will get that top suite at that time, right? That's what best available suite means. It's a great value if you are thinking of traveling in this in 2021. It does require paying full at time of booking, so just as an FYI, but it's a great value. And if you make the booking if you do decide the next month, uh, through the end of the month, we are giving only if you book it through Huckleberry Travel, we are giving $100 per person onboard credit. Again, all inclusive, but you can use that for the spa. You can use that for some of the shore excursions that might not be included, or that vintage room with the wine pairing experience. So that onboard credit can be used for that. Okay, that was River. And that is the highlight. I do want to end it, but we do have two little ships that are coming out. And just think about, if you are not you haven't decided yet on what you want to do, we do have a small little yacht. If you want an adventure, a more relaxed experience, we have the Crystal Spree. She goes to the Seychelles Islands. She goes to the Greek islands. She goes to the Mediterranean. She goes to small ports in the Arabian Peninsula as well. She does a lot of 7-night cruises, and she's only 31 suites on board. So she's a true yacht experience. Small ports, lots of water landings, water toys, jet skis, uh, underwater submersibles as well, kayaking. Harvey, I was hoping that you will give us the background with the submersible, so that when I was going to talk to you guys about that. But yeah, it's an adventure experience on the yacht, similar to the river experience, all inclusive, specialty dining on board, amazing service. But the destinations are going to be off the beaten path, more adventure. Sometimes in the Greek islands, we might just find a small little beach and we'll take you there, set up for you, give you cocktails, get you all set up, and you have a nice, beautiful beach day in the Greek islands. So that's that type of experience. We do have that available as well. And then lastly, we have an expedition experience coming out at the beginning of 2021, the Crystal Endeavor. She does a lot of the very remote destinations, like Antarctica, of course, like the Arctic. She will be doing Alaska as well in late 2021. And she is a 200 guest yacht. She can break ice. She is equipped with everything you need for those destinations. And this experience is a true adventure and expedition. So we will have expedition leaders coming on board, leading the way to find those penguin colonies along Antarctica, right? Cultural experiences in the Japanese islands as well will be part of the itineraries that we will offer. So there are going to be very unique remote destinations if that is something that you're looking forward to doing. All right, so I will end it with this. Again, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me. And I do want to offer you all, in case you do have that dream to book something now, there is an incentive for being here, for joining us today, of the shipboard credit or onboard credit of $200 per stateroom. And also on select dates for 2020 and 2021, we have a additional discounts of $300 up to $750 per stateroom discount on those dates. and that is applicable for bookings made by June 30th. Again, no pressure, but if you have any questions, I would love to address them. I know the Huckleberry team is always eager to provide some information. They're wonderful. And if I can answer them today, I can get you guys all the answers maybe later on.
So just to add to what Mario said, if anybody here is inclined to book a Crystal cruise before the end of the month, not only has Mario extended some really fantastic value to us, but in addition to that, we will be providing a $25 gift card to Werkstatt, or to, if you're not in Brooklyn, if you're visiting us from California or from Ohio or Florida or someplace else, we will happily give you a gift card to a small local business in your neighborhood, maybe a restaurant, maybe a bar. But really, we kind of started this whole thing. Crystal is not the biggest marine experience out there, but they are clearly among the best, if not the best. And we've had such an amazing experience when we've traveled with them. We wanted to share that with you, but also just to know that small local businesses are really important. If you'd like to give a tip to Werkstatt, you can Venmo a gratuity to the staff, many of whom have had to be laid off, to Werkstatt-Brooklyn.
No, Werkstatt-restaurant.
Restaurant.
Sorry, I got that wrong. Okay, Werkstatt restaurant. And that's the way to Venmo them. We've got a few questions, so I'll let Aaron, maybe Aaron or David want to lead the questions.
Sure. So I think this is for Mario. Just a question: if there are river cruises on other continents through Crystal at this point?
Not from Crystal, no. No. Again, Crystal is very strategic because we want to make sure we deliver that wonderful experience and the brand that we've built throughout 30 years. So because we're fairly new to river, we wanted to provide the authentic river cruise experiences. So only the Rhine and the Danube at this moment, with Rhine and Moselle and the Danube.
Yeah, and
hopefully soon.
Keep in mind too that we're talking about a small company and a luxury company too. So even if you travel with them on an ocean cruise, this is not the cruise line with belly flop competitions by the pool.
No, don't happen.
Unless David's.
Sorry, we're not.
Yeah. But you'll really have an exceptional experience. And luxury is a word that's not really tied to like spending a lot of money necessarily. It's more about value. And really, like you could go on a cruise line that does not brand itself as a luxury cruise, but because of everything that's included on Crystal, if you added all of those things that you'd have to pay extra for on those other cruise lines, really, Crystal is an incredible value for you. So.
And one other thing, as much as we think it's important we wanted to do this to support Crystal, support local businesses. We also just wanted to do it because it's fun to talk about really exciting and wonderful travel. And just, even though things are not necessarily at a point where we can jump in and do something tomorrow or next week, it's not too early to start planning for travel because things are going to open up and we will be traveling again. And we want to make sure that we get you opportunities to do things you want to do while there's availability. And so that's kind of why we're talking about things for December and for next year now. It's just exciting to have something on your calendar to plan for.
One other point that we've made before is that when you think about the fact that nobody is really able to travel right now at this moment, and so there are a lot of people who really have pent up wanderlust, and so if they are, so think about all of the people who are going to want to travel next year, and to have an offer like this from Crystal that's really exclusive to us, and we're so grateful to Mario for making this happen. We would love to get you a primo space on the best available suite, and make that happen for you, so that so that you're not planning at the last minute.
I'm going to go ahead and just take everyone off mute now, because we really only have a couple more minutes till the end of our time. We don't have anywhere else to go, surprisingly enough. But we want to make sure if people want to say hello or have questions, please feel free to go ahead and chime in. But otherwise,
I do have one more comment, guys, just really quick. So to your point, Tom, earlier, because at least, and I can only speak for Crystal, but because of the close relationship that we have with our guest, and the brand has built around this trust with our guest, I'm very proud of what we have done during this time in terms of taking care of our guests. There's a lot of uncertainty still, of course, in the world. There are no guarantees, but what I can tell you that what we've done for the past 3 months, if there are changes in the world that affect a booking, affect a sailing, your vacation, your investment, we have been very generous in protecting it. So you can really rest assured, and of course, that's the reason why we have really strong partnerships with our travel advisors as well, because we deliver, right? We want to make sure that we protect our guests.
Yeah, and we're grateful for that too. And truly, we even though we're a small company, we have developed some really terrific relationships with all of our supplier partners, and among those, Mario and Crystal is really top of the list. And Mario is, before he was with Crystal, he was with another one of our suppliers, so we've known him for a while, and we're just very, very grateful for the support and excited about that.
Thank you guys.
So anybody have any other questions or comments or thoughts, since we're down to a smaller group? Or just people who want to say hi?
No, we really appreciate everyone joining us tonight. Thank you for being part of our virtual Danube night.
We have to figure out a way to deliver the drinks to everyone next time.
Yes,
I know.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
We'll send out
everyone.
an ingredient list early or something.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe we should do that.
For sure. So thanks so much, and if you had a good time tonight, we're hoping to do more of these types of events in the future. So just let us know, because we love seeing you all, even if it's on a computer.
Yep.
And
This was a lot of fun. I have to say thank you.
Yay. Well, thanks
Bye, everyone.
And-
Stay safe.
Cocktail time in Arizona and California.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was very fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Thank you,
Bye.
Mario.
Thank you, guys. Take care. This is great. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
We will,
Thank
of
you.
course. Thanks so much.
Bye, Aaron.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.